What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. We hit another huge milestone this week, 150 subscribers. You guys are absolutely crazy. Keep on growing. The followers of the Force keep on growing the community together. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the love and support. It's been crazy. We're going to come at you today with a big video for our season tomorrow. We're going to be covering everything in season of the Splicer. I went back and read through 6 or 7 TWABs for you guys, so you guys don't have to. A nice little too long didn't read, so you guys can get everything from armor synthesis to perk changes to exotic changes to the new game modes to the new loot pool. It's going to be crazy, so let's get right into it. First off, we have some little quality of life changes, as you can see right here. Ada's coming back to the tower, which is awesome, as our armor synthesis main NPC. She's getting some changes besides just armor synthesis. As you can see, she will be having an armor mod and a combat mod, which she will be selling daily. Additionally, on a weekly basis, she will sell one full armor set from the world loot pool, which is awesome. Makes it easy to get some of those variations of armor that you didn't have in the past. And she will be selling upgrade materials like modules, prisms, shards like that, just like Banshee did. But there's also some changes coming to Banshee. He is no longer selling armor mods, but will still sell his upgrade materials like he is now. But instead of that armor mod that he used to sell, he's going to be selling a selection of 6 weapons randomly chosen from the loot pool at 2 kinetic, 2 energy, and 2 power, with random perks on them for each weapon. This will reset weekly, so you will be able to grab some crazy combination for rolls depending on what Banshee is selling, so that is exciting. Moving on to armor synthesis. It is going to be a little grindy, but I don't think it'll be that bad. You will be able to grow your collection like it says here and get some pretty crazy transmogs that we've been asking for a long time, and it's going to be pretty cool, I think, even though a lot of people are hating on it. Alright, so for armor synthesis, as you can see here, you defeat enemies to earn Synthostrand. From that Synthostrand, you spend it on bounties. Those bounties earn you Synthocord. The Synthocord at the loom where Ada will be is turned into Synthoweave, and then that Synthoweave you convert to the Universal Armor Ornament. Now, it sounds kind of crazy, but it's only after defeating 150 enemies for Synthostrand you go to Ada and get your bounty, which can be done, as you can see here, in Vanguard, Crucible, Gambit, Destinations, and Raids. To me, 150 enemies is not that bad, and then you have to complete a bounty, which gives you the cord, and then you convert that cord into Synthweave, and then that Synthweave into armor, so it really doesn't seem like it's going to be that bad. 150 enemies seems pretty easy to me. Now, you might be asking, how many armors can I get? So, just this season alone, we will earn 20 Synthweave per class. That is 4 full armor sets, or 20 individual pieces. Every season after this, it'll be 10 Synthweave per class per season. So that's still 2 full armor sets per season per class, or 10 individual armor pieces per class per season. The only thing, there are a couple exceptions to this rule, just because there's some super old year 1 ornaments that don't work, like Prestige, Faction Rallies, Iron Banner, Trials of the Nine, stuff like that, and you can't use them on exotics. Next, we all know loot is the biggest part about Destiny. This season is going to be a little bit different than previous because you cannot earn the season armor from the battle pass, which was how we did it before. It is now earned from seasonal activities and focused umbral engrams, which isn't that bad. The season pass, where those armor pieces used to be, now got switched out with like resources, glimmer, some legendary shards, stuff like that. We also have a ton of new weapons to earn from this season, starting out with these 3 bad boys right here from the season pass: the exotic stasis sidearm, a shotgun, and a heavy LMG. Next, we have 4 new season weapons: sidearm, a breach grenade launcher, and then I believe it's going to be an auto rifle and a pulse rifle. These can be earned through umbral engrams and the new playlist override completions. On top of this, we're getting another ritual pinnacle weapon, this Null Composure Fusion Rifle. Once you unlock it via the quest, you can earn, just like the Adored, ornaments for Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard. And then, On top of that, Bungie going crazy. 4 additional legendary weapons per playlist, Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard. So 12 total weapons. It's kind of wild, giving us a lot of new weapons to grind for here. And we're not done yet. Next, we have the 3 new Nightfall weapon rotations right here. A scout rifle, a sniper, and a fusion rifle. That scout rifle right there is a D1 classic, the Hung Juror. So this thing's probably going to slap, and we're getting an adept version of each of these. Now, the old 3 Nightfall weapons, the Palindrome, the Swarm, and the Shadow Price, are going to go away for a little while, halfway through the season, probably around the 22nd when Grandmasters come out. They will be back as additional awards at the end of a Nightfall to one of these, whichever is on the rotation that week. So that is exciting, and they are coming back. Last but not least, Iron Banner is also getting 4 new weapons, an LMG and a shotgun, which we have not had before, and then a Year 1 sniper and hand cannon, which have just been reworked for random rolls and such for the new metas. So that's exciting. A whole ton of weapons and armor to grab this season. It's going to be amazing, and I am ready to grind out some amazing loot. Next, we have the good old Vault of Glass, one of the biggest things coming this season that everybody's super excited about. It comes out on Saturday, May 22nd at 10 a.m. Pacific, which is at reset on Saturday. Now, there will be a contest mode for the first 24 hours, part of the world's first race. Now, it's going to be a little bit different because this is the first raid that has a world's first that we've done before. They've changed up some of the mechanics, but for the world's first race, you have to complete it the first time on contest mode within those 24 hours. And then within that same 24 hours, a new challenge mode for the raid opens up and a list of challenges that you have to complete. The first team that completes that challenge mode with all the challenges and triumphs done, that's how World's First is working this year. Gonna be very interesting, but for everybody not going for that and just going for that first contest mode, 13 level is the power cap to be at level in all the encounters during the raid. Either way, we got Atheon coming back, and I am super pumped. It's been like 6 years since I've done this raid. Not gonna lie, I only did it twice, I think, in D1, so it happened, but it was a super fun raid, and I am so ready for it to come back. Next, we're going to go over the weapon changes coming. So first off, we have the 120 hand cannons, which we know, as they said, have been dominant in PvP. They are getting a range nerf and an aim assist nerf by fall off distance reduced 2 to 4 meters based on your range stat. Vortex frame swords. So they are getting a little nerf as well. The heavy attack ammo cost is going from 4 to 6. We also have chip damage being nerfed. Certain weapons, like swords and bastion, bypass shields by varying amounts. So they took this out for swords and bastion, which is kind of nice because bastion did rail people through shields. That's going to be nice that it's doing actual shield damage instead of body damage. Next, we have the 450 auto rifles. This is like your shadow price. So it's getting a little buff from increased damage per bullet from 17 to 18. They also added 2 rares, which I actually made a video on, the bow and the machine gun. They're adding a breach grenade launcher and a linear fusion rifle as well, which is kind of weird to me, but hey. Next, we have linear fusion rifles change. We know nobody uses these things. So, they get increased precision damage by 15% and increased ammo reserves by 20. So you're going to have more shots and it's going to hit a lot harder. We'll see what other tweaks they do to it, but for now, that's a great change. Next off, we have fusion rifles. Now, they did get buffed this season, but they tweaked it a little bit more. So increased damage fall off distance depends on your range stat. There's no effect at 100 range, and then it's plus 2 meters at 0. You lose 2 meters of impact if you have 0 range, which that really isn't that long between 100 range and 0 range. So next off, we have a bunch of perks that are getting nerfed and changed and buffed next season. So Quick Draw is a really big one. It is getting super just all over the place change. So first off, the handling bonus that came from it is removed 1 second after switching to this weapon or upon ADSing. It used to last way longer than that. They also replaced Quick Draw with Surplus on the new and existing drops of Fellwinter's Lie and Astral. That's huge. So they took it off of Astral and Fellwinter's completely and replaced it with Surplus for next season. Next, we have Frenzy. This perk had a super crazy uptime in PvE, like they said, higher than Rampage, so they reduced the bonus damage from 20% to 15%. Next, Reservoir Burst. So it now increases magazine size in addition to this other effect, but it reduced the full battery damage from 33% to 25%. So they might tweak it depending on what's coming up. As they say, wink wink, nudge nudge, saying no more. Next we have Subsistence. No longer reduces ammo reserves. The submachine gun ammo back that you get is now in line with auto rifles at 17% instead of 10% like other weapons. Both High Impact Reserve and Under Pressure got changed a little bit. They are easier to activate and the activation lasts longer. Next we have Unrelenting. As it says, it was another one that was harder to trigger in content, so they're making it easier to trigger in PvE, which is super cool, and we get 20% more health on the perk. Sympathetic Arsenal. It now grants 20 reload in addition to its primary effects. Dragonfly. It now works with heavy shanks and servitors, and there's no more like little delay in a headshot and then the explosion. The explosion's gonna happen a lot faster. Next up, we have Hip Fire Grip. There is a plus 1 degree precision hip angle threshold, so that just means your cone for aim assist changes a little bit, and the stickiness of the aim assist fall off distance was increased. So we're definitely going to feel a big change in this, like they state in a full degree is going to be a decent amount of change, and hopefully we can feel that hip fire grip, but not too much where it's overpowered and everybody's just hip firing, because it's already a strong perk on certain weapons. Next, we have Iron Grip, Gaze, and Reach from the Iron Banner specific perks right here. That secondary stat penalty that they give in like reduced range, stability, it's going from minus 40 to minus 30, so they're kind of buffing those perks. Next, Osmosis and Elemental Capacitor. They were not working correctly with Stasis subclass, so Osmosis now switches your weapon to Stasis damage, and this will help with some of those mechanics that ask for Stasis damage. Next, the Elemental Capacitor, when you're using the Stasis subclass, it will generate plus recoil direction and reduce ADS movement speed. Next off, we have No Distractions. They reduced trigger time from 1.5 to 1 seconds, and they increased the flinch reduction from 30 to 35, so that got buffed. Clarity and Bottomless Grief, they also got buffed. Clarity now grants plus 20 to handling and plus 20 reload in addition to the triggered effects. That is for Trials weapons, and then Bottomless Grief is for Nightfall weapons. This now grants plus 30 to the magazine size plus the triggered effect. And finally, we already knew Thresh got changed where it wasn't working sometimes depending on the weapon, and now it is working all the time. Just a few more things to go over. I told you this was going to be long. I am so sorry, but it is literally everything from 6TWABs to go over, and it's kind of crazy. So next off, these mods right here for Adept are changing the Adept mag and targeting. They are reducing the secondary stat penalty from minus 20 to minus 15, so they're getting buffed. And then they fixed the Adept mag not granting the sword reserves. So these got changed and fixed a bug, kind of like the Iron Banner perks got changed as well. And then Counterbalance, they increased recoil direction benefit, so that Counterbalance got a buff as well. Exotics that are changing. First off, we have the Mida multi-tool. The change is just the Catalyst perk is from Outlaw to No Distraction, and it might change because the perk No Distraction is also changing. Hawkmoon, increased priority in Paracausal Charge and Paracausal Shot text, because on the left lower hand side of your screen it was just disappearing sometimes if you had a bunch of buffs going on and nerfs. Next, we have the Lament. Because of that chip damage that I mentioned before, it'll still have its anti-barrier despite not having the chip damage like before, and it has reduced damage of the revved heavy attack by approximately 16%. Next off, the Bastion. It's been going crazy in PvP, especially on console that I've seen, but it's intrinsically being able to stagger unstoppable champions, which is cool, but it increased its angle of spread by 13%, so you can't just beam people from a mile. The spread will be way larger now. Finally, in the future right here, they are going to be making changes to all of these things: shotguns, Dead Man's Tale, and fusion rifles, just especially because of all of the changes that I have just mentioned. These are going to have to be tweaked a little bit depending on how the sandbox really affects everything coming up in the new season. Alright, last but not least, I'm just going to go over it right here on the document because it's just a lot of patch notes. As you can see, colorblind settings now work for stasis. It didn't before. Next, the Hunter got some changes to its stasis. Freeze detonation in the super is reduced from 12 to 8.5 meters. The Squall, the tornado, has a red ring around the area to define exactly where it's going to be so you know where you're going to get frozen. Titans, Shiver Strike melee energy is now refunded after the super ends. And there was a little glitch where Whisper of Torment could be procced by standing in barricades. That was fixed. Next, Warlocks. The Shadebinder Bleak Watcher aspect now grants 2 fragment slots, and Chaos Reach was penetrating some walls and surfaces that it shouldn't have been, so that was also fixed. Next, we're having a new nav mode and UI changes that separate bounties and quests. There's going to be no more tracking quests, and your tracked triumphs will now appear in this nav mode. There is going to be a 6v6 change to the intro as well. It's cycling through your teammates and showing the metrics. The helmet is now in the destinations tab and not in the tower. That was one of my biggest pet peeves of this last season, so I am super glad that they changed that. There's going to be a new Guardian appearance customization screen. That's why you got to scrap your shaders now before the end of the season, because they are going away and you get the glimmer and shards from them now, so make sure you get rid of them. There's going to be a whole new way to customize your Guardian. Shaders from Tess are going up to 300 Bright Dust from 40, which is kind of absurd to me. The Glory, Valor, and Infamy ranks are now linear as well for wins, so Glory goes up by 20 per win, and Infamy goes up by 35 per win. Vanguard is also getting a new reputation system down the road, just like Crucible and Gambit. Make sure to claim your titles like Chosen, Flawless, and Conqueror before tomorrow at reset, because they could get messed up. Next, make sure to unequip seasonal mods so they don't disappear, like hand cannon targeting and sniper targeting and stuff at the beginning of this season. Do not keep them on your armor. Make sure to get rid of them. Make sure to claim your Banshee rewards by May 14th. As I said, new shader system coming, so dismantle those. And here's the downtime for tomorrow. 9 a.m. maintenance starts Pacific time. 9:45 a.m. players are removed. At 10 a.m. at reset, 3.2 goes live, and we can log back in, and then at 11 a.m. it'll expect to conclude. Just expect some server queues around that 10 a.m. Pacific time or 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's it, guys. I know that was stupid long and crazy. I appreciate you guys sticking around if you watch any of it or the whole thing. There's just so much to go over, and if I miss anything, I'm so sorry. This is already like an 18-20 minute video, so thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy the grind tomorrow. It's gonna be crazy. Let me know what you guys think of the new season. I'll catch you. Peace.